appreciate you joining me today. We're going to be looking at the account of David and Absalom. Our hymn is called An Address for All.
I sing a song which does belong to all the human race, concerning death which steals the breath and blasts the comely face. Come, listen all unto my call, which I do make today, for you must die as well as I, and pass from hence away. No human power can stop the hour wherein a mortal dies. A Caesar may be great today, yet death will close his eyes. Though some do strive and do arrive to riches and renown, enjoying health and swim in wealth, yet death will bring them down. Oh, beauty, grace your comely face with roses white and red. A dying foe will spoil it all, for Absalom is dead. Though you acquire the best attire, appearing fine and fair, yet death's sad gloom will fill thy room and strip you naked there. The princes high and beggars die and mingle with the dust. The rich, the brave, the weary slave, the wicked and the just. Therefore prepare to meet thy God before it be too late, or else you'll weep, lament, and cry, lost in our ruined state.
Okay. The point of the hymn is pretty clear, isn't it? That death comes for all. To look at our passage today, it begins with the account of Amnon and Tamar. And Amnon rapes Tamar. Tamar flees from the face of Amnon, and Tamar comes to Absalom, her brother. And Absalom tells her to hold her peace, and Absalom knows, well, he's going to start thinking about what he's going to do, and you can tell after 2 years what he does. He ends up murdering Amnon. These are both David's sons, understand, from different mothers. And so Absalom murders Amnon and flees from the face of David, flees to a place called Geshur. And David wanted to go to him, but that's not a good situation. So eventually, though, Joab, David's general, has a scheme to get Absalom back to Jerusalem. And so he talks a certain woman into speaking to the king and all that rigmarole. And so Absalom comes back to Jerusalem, but to go on, before verse 25, notice verse 24, Absalom returned to his own house but did not see the king's face. Verse 25, now in all Israel there was no one who was praised as much as Absalom for his good looks, from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. There is no blemish in him. And that's why our hymn there in verse 3, though beauty grace your comely face with roses white and red, a dying fall will spoil it all, for Absalom is dead. We know what Scripture says. Proverbs 31, beauty is fading. And here Absalom was, and he was more handsome than anyone else in Jerusalem. He's going to die. And that's the thing. Beauty is fading. It might fade very abruptly, like with Absalom, or it might fade over the years, but eventually death comes for all. Back to the passage. So, Absalom's not real happy because things aren't exactly kosher at home, so to speak. And so, eventually, you have Absalom conspiring against his father David, is what happens. And he has his way of doing. Remember, he's real handsome. And he has a way of talking to people, and he's politicking, is what he's doing. And so the conspiracy grows. Verse 12, it grew strong, for the people with Absalom continually increased in number. He's real popular. Again, back to our hymn. Verse 2, the latter half of verse 2, a Caesar may be great today, yet death will close his eyes. And you may be real popular. You may have all sorts of followers, all sorts of accolades. You're still going to die. Be the most popular person ever, you're still going to die. And that's just the reality. And so we cannot hang our hat on appearances. We cannot hang our hat on popularity. And back to the account. So the conspiracy grows strong. David ends up actually having to flee Jerusalem. And so it is not a good situation at all. Absalom has committed a coup, basically, although no bloodshed has happened yet, more or less. We don't want to get to that point yet. But in chapter, we'll have to go on. So you have the conspiracy in chapter 15. Chapter 16, you start having some of the things that happen when David flees. And these individuals will be dealt with another time. You have those who curse David, and you have those who were a blessing to David. But eventually you have Absalom's going to be killed. But before he's killed, remember Joab is the one who's responsible for his death. And it says that, but before he's killed, the king had commanded Joab, Abishai, and Ittai, saying, deal gently for my sake with young man Absalom. And all the people heard when the king gave all the captains orders concerning Absalom. I just wanted to make the point that David wants them to be merciful to Absalom. Joab's not. But that's what David wants. And I just wanted to make the point that people may be merciful to you. They may be merciful to us. They may want to show us kindness for whatever reason. And David and Absalom, that whole relationship, it's a hot mess. But David wants to show him mercy. People may show us mercy. People may be kind to us, show us favor. At some point, we're still going to die. And I guess my point is, at some point, it's the end of the race. We may, here Absalom is like handsome, popular, even David showing him kindness. But when it's time, it's time. And you're not going to avoid it. May prolong it a little bit, but when it's time, it's time. And so, even though others may treat us kindly, what we need to do is what, again, the hymn speaks about. Therefore prepare to meet thy God before it be too late, or else you weep, lament, and cry, lost in a ruined state. And that's Absalom. That's David as well, weeping and lamenting for Absalom when he gets news that his son is dead. Absalom was as wicked as he could be. had been given so many opportunities to do the right thing, and he didn't do it. It's sad. We need to prepare ourselves for what's coming. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day. Join us tomorrow for another portion of our Daily Praise.